Tuesday, September 16th. I am Bruce Leonard, and this is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal. Still legal today, but apparently Pam Bondi would like to make it not legal. Which is why I named this show Bruce Leonard Leans Left While It's Still Legal. Because there will be a concerted effort to make shows like this not legal at some point. We're inching ever closer to that moment at all times. I don't know if you've noticed this, but Trump is becoming more and more Trumpy all the time. He's really starting to feel himself as a wannabe authoritarian, autocratic dictator. You know, flexing the military around and blowing up boats. He blew up another boat in Venezuela. I don't know if you saw that. Another little boat. I mean, first of all, my question is, how the fuck does he think these little boats are going to get to America? Like, he's in Venezuela. These aren't even big boats. It's not like a ship. It's like a a boat that you'd see out on a lake with your friends. Right? It's like they're gonna take this little boat thousands of miles. That's like, and you're going to sell drugs, smuggle drugs. Why would you do it in these little tiny boats? It doesn't make any sense. And then he says, "Oh, it looks like the not a lot of boats out there anymore." He's like, "I think the fishing industry is taking a hit." He's like, "I don't think the fishermen want to be out there," and I don't blame him. Like, yeah, I don't blame him either. You're fucking nuts, bro. It's a blow up fishing boat next. What's up, Julie? It's insane. The whole thing is insane. It's and getting more and more Looney Tune all the fucking time. I don't know if you saw Kash Patel today up in front of the Senate. That was a very professional hearing. Oh, I don't know if you know this, but Kash Patel cleared it up today. Jeffrey Epstein did not traffic any children to anyone. These people who made a living, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, are only there because they made a living saying they wanted to release these Epstein files and get to the bottom of this. Who are the pedophiles? And now they say, "Oh, there's nobody, there's no proof that he did any of this in the files that we refuse to show you." I wish I could make it not so fucking stupid, but it's fucking stupid. And the fact that anyone's buying this is even more dumb. This country is a clown show. I don't know if you saw this, but he went to England. They just rolled out like a 50-foot picture of him and Jeffrey Epstein out in front of this castle that he was having a meeting at. Meanwhile, a channel, an entire channel on British television was showing nothing but Donald Trump's lies over and over. Well, not even over and over. It's like a whole reel of his lies. It probably lasts 2 fucking days. Like, the guy lies every time he opens his fucking mouth. And people still listen to him. That's the part that blows my mind. Still, to this day. I've never seen a man lie so much. Easily disproven lies. Unchallenged. Nobody says anything now. It's all normalized. He just sits there and spews off a bunch of bullshit, and they just sit there and they don't say anything. And if they do say something, he goes, "Oh, you got a lot of hate in your heart for me, I see." He said, the guy at ABC today asked him a question about Pam Bondi saying, and I don't know if you know this, but Pam Bondi said, we're going to go after people for hate speech. If you target anyone, we're going to go after you. And then there was a bunch of blowback, even on the right, by free speech absolutists who were like, hey, you can't do that. It's the First Amendment protects free speech, whether you like it or not. And then she had to walk it back. And she's like, well, we didn't mean like we go after, if it's violent or what's up. Like, it was like, no. The First Amendment protects free speech. Period. So protect Charlie Kirk to say all these fucking horrible things and nobody's saying anything. Why? Because he had free speech rights to say them. And Charlie Kirk himself was a free speech absolutist, or, he claimed to be. Even though he did assemble a list of professors who said things that he didn't like. But anyway, we're not here to trash him or talk about him anymore. And that's another thing. People are like, oh, you trash. They didn't say it to me, but they're saying it to other people. Oh, you trash, you Charlie Kirk, trash. Apparently, just saying quotes of what Charlie Kirk said in his life is trashing Charlie Kirk. Now, what does that tell you about what kind of person this really is? Like, hey, I'm not trashing him. I'm telling you what he said. What he said is horrible and reprehensible. Period. Point blank. There's a whole entire industry built upon spreading hate, disinformation, and now you see it. He's got, I wouldn't call it clones, but I've seen it already. There's people who are like, hey, I could do this. I'm going to start a podcast. Meanwhile, they don't know shit about nothing. They just watch Charlie Kirk's podcast and now they're like, hey, I can do that. No. Say what you want about Charlie Kirk, but he had positions. He was involved in politics. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't personally. I think that's the entire problem. The entire issue is what he was doing is not politics. Politics is like, hey, we got a problem down here downtown. There's an intersection. It's dangerous and people are getting killed and or something. And what can we do about that? Let's solve this problem. That's politics. Or budgeting. How we budget this money to best serve our community, our state, our county, our city, whatever. That's politics. Talking about, I hate trans people, or black people hunt people down for fun. That's not politics. But it's become politics in America, and that's why we have these fucking problems. It's a culture war. And the right has always leaned into that culture war. You know why? Because they don't have any real fucking ideas of how to solve anything. The right only exists because they foment divisions and you have an enemy that you... That's their whole fucking strategy. It's always been that way. That's how Hitler came to power. That's how Mussolini came to power. That's how everybody came to power. Is they go, oh, those people, they're the problem. And, if you get rid of those people and you put me in charge, I'm strong and I'll take care of everything. And that's how it happens. Right? Wing ideology is not really an ideology or a political philosophy underneath the surface. It's a grievance-based, emotional con job, really. They have to convince you that the other people, there has to be an other, first of all. There always has to be an other. There's an other, and they're not us, and they're against us, and they're trying to endanger our way of life, and and on and on and on and on. And that's how they get people. Not because they go, hey, I got ideas of how to fix all these fucking problems we have in society. They don't want to fix the problems. The problems enable their existence. If you fixed all the problems and everybody was happy, there wouldn't be no fucking right-wingers. Like I said, when's the last time you saw a right-wing person that's happy? It's all anger-based, like I said, bigotry or whatever. Whatever you want. It's them, and we got to get rid of them, because somehow they focus on the trans people. I think it's because the trans people are an easy target, you know. Most people don't understand it. Once somebody doesn't understand anything, it opens their mind right away for misinformation to get in, because they don't really know anything about it, except that, oh, I don't understand. A man is a man and a woman is a woman, right? Am I right? Am I right? They can simplify it down to the most simple thing, and that's how they rile people's emotions. What's Julius say? How about that resurfaced Fuentes video going around saying he and his groypers infiltrated Turning Point USA? Yeah, probably. That's the thing about this whole situation, is you have a lot of confluent things coming together at one time. You have, like I said, is he right? Is he left? What's a groyper? Nobody knows. It's like a super secret alt-right fucking group of people that no one knows too much about, right? So you could say whatever you want about it. There's also ignorance coming from the older people who don't understand this culture on the internet, because they don't go on the internet. So it's very easy for them to misinterpret what's really going on. Like, really, you watch even today, watches CNN or whatever, there's a whole panel of people sitting around a desk, right? All of them, it was Casey Hunt, Scott Jennings, people like that, right? And none of them really knew what those things were that were on those bullets. Why? Because it's super dark web secret gamer shit that no one knows unless they're in that fucking environment. Those arrows for some game, Hellgate or some shit. I never even heard of it, I admit I'm old too. I don't know, but I'm a little bit more internet savvy than the average person, that I see on TV. They don't know shit about it, and which I find amazing, because they're news reporters. They don't use the internet. Now I'll admit I didn't know what a groyper. I had to look into it, but it's like, I knew who Nick Fuentes was, but I know what his movement is, and the groypers, and what it means. Like, if someone could tell me, explain it to me, you're more than welcome to. Like I said, the chat box is always on. You can comment on all channels. And I'm willing to listen to somebody, try to tell me something I don't know. That's the purpose of this show. But as far as I can tell, the groypers are really far right, and they think that Charlie Kirk wasn't right enough, and now, is this guy a groyper? Who knows? It's like Antifa. It's not really an organization. It's like, groypers is an organization led by Nick Fuentes. Is it? Or is Nick Fuentes just a jerk off with a podcast, and then people that listen to him, that's what they call themselves, or whatever, like Jim Rome calls his audience something, I can't even remember what it is, but there is a name for it, He's just a sports guy that say, Jim Rome has a mob, like, no, they're just a bunch of sports guys that listen to his show. If they calls him something, I can't remember what he calls him. I don't know. It's not worth taking the time to look it up. But I haven't listened to Jim Rome in a long time. He's not on the radio anymore. He's got his own show online. I think he does it on Twitter, as a matter of fact. That's the other part. People, I never understood why people kept using Twitter, even especially these big corporations. Twitter is a cesspool of filth, like now. You can't even, I don't even go, I deleted my account finally. I haven't been on it for a long time. And I'm glad, because every time I went on it was like, what the fuck? I can't believe people are allowed to say all this shit. It's all lies and bullshit. And I said, people trying to rev people up to fight. Yeah, see, Don Lemon calls his show, his following Lemon Drops. Yeah, exactly. Is Don Lemon like a, Got a gang of it's a gang of middle-aged people. It's like Don Lemon. We know Donald Trump don't like Don Lemon. Don Lemon fucked up, didn't he? He really fucked up. It's like, got himself fired. It's not like Terry Moran, where Terry Moran spoke up and said the truth about Stephen Miller, and they fired him for it. It's just like now when they say the left is responsible for all this, all these years of becoming fascists and this and that and the other, and then you look, it's like, well, it's kind of, what do fascists do, right? If they create an enemy, they build camps, they militarize shit, they go after private businesses, they go after the press, they try to censor the press or shut them down or whatever. That Trump is sued in the New York Times. Like, he does all the things that a fascist does, but you can't call him that. Well, why can't you? For years and years and years, anyone who was even slightly left at all, they said we were a communist. For years. There was even a time when they purged people in the 1950s. They said, oh, he's a communist. They blackball them from Hollywood or whatever, ruin their career. And now they're actually doing fascist things. They're like, you can't call us that. Really? You can't? Why is that? I just wonder. It's dangerous to call them. It's dangerous to call things what they are. Dude, that's the problem in this country. Is that we want to live in this bleached fantasy that everything is still cool and normal, and you can look around you. It's not cool and normal, and it hasn't been for quite a while. And everybody's just driving down, this fucked up road, and nobody's like, hey, man, maybe we should turn around. Get off this road. It's bad. This is not headed to a good place. Julia says McCarthyism 2.0. Yeah, but it's like flipped around. It's like, let's flip it around. Let's say that they were communists, right? And they'd taken over the government. And they're trying to do all these communist things, and then you go, oh, they're communists, and then they go, you can't call us that. It's like, yeah, but you just seize the means of production. It's like, seems pretty communist to me. Oh, you can't say that. Well, why can't you? No, canon is not normal. None of this is normal. Although, I guess it's the new normal. That, there's been so many systematic failures that have led to this situation. And the press, the collapse of the press, has been, to me, the most... Because I've always been a defender of the press. I've always stuck up for the press. I've always been like, hey, I get my information from the press, and I've always tried to confirm. I always tell people, I always try to confirm multiple times. Like I said, if you see a news story and it's only been published by the Daily Caller and Newsmax and even Fox News, right? You go, this may or may not be. Fox News has published so many stories that they've had to retract because this is the other game they play. Once you put a story out there, even if you retract it, it's already out there. Most people, it's just like an innocent person gets accused of a crime, right? And forevermore, even if it's proved that they didn't do it, there's always somebody that comes up to them, you're that fucking guy that killed your wife. They're like, no, I'm not. But because they don't read the retraction. If it was up to me, it would be a law that if you publish a false news story that you have to retract, that you have to put that retraction on the front page of the fucking paper. So it's the first thing you see when you pick up that newspaper. It says, oh, remember that story we published yesterday? It's not true. But see, they don't do that. They bury the retraction in the back of the fucking paper with the classified ads or some shit. And then you might not even see it. And that bullshit story you read yesterday, you just keep on going on about your life thinking that that was true. Unless you go on the internet, a lot, and you might run across something. But most of the time, people say, oh, they retracted this story. You can go Google it and find, where's this retraction? And sometimes you can't even find it. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just shows you how little they care about that. Now, some outlets are more, responsible than others, and they will do that, but not a lot of them. And most of them now are owned by these billionaires. They don't give two fucks about anything except trying to influence the way you think about shit. And bolster up the system that keeps them, rich and powerful. And gets Cash Patel to say, Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anybody to anybody. Why you say that? Well, I don't want to get killed. It's almost like they're all afraid. I said that before. It's like Trump's like a mob boss, and like people are afraid to cross him because I wish I knew, like I've said 100 times, I wish I knew what they had on these people. They got something on these people because a lot of them used to pretend like they had morals. Even Susan Collins and them, Murkowski, would sometimes go against them. They're broke now. They're broken. Susan Collins voted to keep the Epstein files secret. Now, why would she do that? She's from Maine. She's supposedly, a centrist Republican. She's not, her brand is not being a Trump nutlicker, but yet somehow she's become a Trump nutlicker. How is that? Because somebody bribed her, they bought her, they blackmailed her, they have something on her. I mean, I don't know. But all these things are possible, or maybe all of them happen. There is a truth that she took several $1 million right before she from somebody right before she voted for that big beautiful bill. So they fucking bought her vote. The fact that we allow this to happen is astounding to me. And no one, the average American doesn't care. Or if you tell them, they go, oh, that's fucked up, but they don't know until you tell them. By then, it's already too late. It's already happened. The fact that people aren't marching in the streets right now about the Epstein files, that they said for 10 fucking years that their whole mission in life was to unseal these files and find out who the fucking pedophiles are, and now they're like, he didn't do anything, and the files, you don't need to see them, and we know Trump's in the files. Remember, he tried to sue the Wall Street Journal and say that fucking letter wasn't real. They bring out the book, and here's the letter. It's real. He's like, that ain't me. What's my signature? Really? Somebody put that note in that book in 2003, just hoping and praying that you'd become president so they could whip it out one day. You gotta be fucking kidding me. And the fact that you would believe that for 1 second. Anybody, especially people who said they wanted the files released. Everybody keeps saying we should honor Charlie Kirk, right? Everybody keeps saying that. We need to honor Charlie Kirk. He got killed for his, beliefs or whatever. But okay, Charlie Kirk and I didn't agree on much of anything. But there is one thing that he said that I do agree. He said the Epstein files, unredacted, should be released. All of them. You want to honor Charlie Kirk? Why don't you do that? Because it ain't about honoring Charlie Kirk. It's about using his corpse as a fucking political weapon. That's all it's about. He don't give two shits. You know what Trump was doing? They were having a vigil for Charlie Kirk. You know what Trump did? You think he went to that vigil? No, he went and played golf. He doesn't give two fucks about Charlie Kirk. You can say he did. They asked him about Charlie Kirk. It's on tape. He goes, oh, that was terrible. Oh, have you seen the ballroom we're building? Blah, 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 blah. They went on and on and on about the ballroom. Never even brought up Charlie Kirk again. Donald Trump is a sociopath who doesn't really have any emotions or feelings about anything except himself. That's it. He's the most self-centered fucking prick I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a bigger self-centered jerk-off. And I've met some assholes. Donald Trump doesn't care about nothing but himself, his own aggrandizement, and whatever he can use to further his agenda and his aims, which I don't even know what they are anymore. You know, I mean, and I imagine like every megalomaniac, he dreams of world domination, but he's too much of a pussy to make that happen. He can't even stand up to Vladimir Putin. He still has done nothing to Vladimir Putin. That's why he's in Britain right now. NATO is starting to realize this motherfucker ain't going to do shit. They're on their own. That's why he's blowing up them boats down there in Venezuela. Look how tough I am! You know, it's like, oh, yeah, and then Vladimir Putin comes. Ooh. He ain't tough at all. It's fake. Trump's hope for son is fake. It's fake. He's a bully, and he's fake. He acts tough until someone tougher than him stands up to him, and then he backs off. They said on thing today, he makes other people fire people. He always says, I fired him. What happened? I fired him. No, he makes other people fire people because he's too pussy to even do that. That's true. I just found that out. I thought that he would relish firing people. You know, that's what he acts like. But nope. Too much of a puss to even do that. He gotta get somebody else to do it for him. All right, Julia, move along, folks. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. He didn't traffic them girls. What was he convicted for? Well, sex trafficking. Well, sex trafficking to who? Himself? How do you sex traffic to yourself? Same as that chick. There's all these fucking women that say Ghislaine Maxwell did things to her, to them, herself. And they say, oh, she says, I didn't do nothing, I have nothing to do with it. Even some of the right-wing people are even saying, I think she might be a victim too. And then they fucking moved her to this camp. But she's a pedophile sex trafficker who recruited young girls to be sex trafficked. It's like this is somebody we're gonna rely on this person now. We're gonna hold her up. She's a hero. She's spilling the beans. It's like she ain't spilled nothing. And when she did, that guy steered right off of it. She said there was people that hung out with Epstein, some people in your administration that you consider co-workers and friends who were there. And did he follow up on those questions? No. He changed the fucking subject. Why do you think they won't show you these files? Come on, man. Use your fucking brain for a second. I know it's hard, especially if you're a Trump supporter, sitting here watching this show. I don't know why you're watching, but if you are, just for 1 second, stop thinking about how the sun shines up Donald Trump's ass for 1 second and use your fucking brain. Why won't they show you these files? That's the only question you should be asking yourself. And I don't care if you got to ask yourself multiple times. If think about it. Really think about it. There's a reason they don't want you to see it. They say, oh, there's nothing in there. Well, if there's nothing in there, then why don't you bring it out? Well, you can't do that. Whole FBI scrubbing through 100,000 documents, trying to flag every document that says Trump on it. Don't you think that in itself is a fucking problem? His name's in the file. Now, what it says about him, I don't know. But it's in there. The man was best friends with a pedophile sex trafficker for 15 fucking years. You don't think that's strange? Nothing strange about that. We all have, pedophile sex trafficker friends, don't you? I mean, we all have a friend that done something we don't agree with. It's like, Ken says the only thing he cares about is a new burger McDonald's got. Right? You look at him, I think the McDonald's is starting to do its work. He looked like he had a stroke. His fucking hands are all fucking purple. His cankles are swollen up. He's falling apart. I don't know if you've noticed, but he doesn't have quite the pep in his step that he used to, does he? Being president of the United States is stressful. I don't care if you want to be dictator like he is or whatever. It's a thanks, Questel. She says she can't hear on the phone. She's been in Taekwondo on Tuesday. Don't get home till nearly 7. But here's the comment and the like for the algorithm. Hey, you can always watch later. Show's there. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Julia. Julia says, look how the GOP shut Madison Cawthorn up so quickly after he told on them for coke-fueled orgies. It's not too difficult to see they're all sickos and most definitely had something to do with Epstein. Yeah, exactly. And some left-wingers. The ambassador for Britain got fired because Bloomberg got a hold of all these emails and they found out that he had a much more deeper relationship with Jeffrey Epstein than previously suspected, and he was trying to get Jeffrey Epstein a lighter sentence, which worked because he did get one. He got fired immediately. He's kind of a left-wing guy, but here's the gig. I don't care. They're left, they're right, I don't give a shit. This is not a political issue, same thing. This has nothing to do with fucking politics. This has to do with fucking trafficking, sex trafficking women, and banging little girls. All of which should be wrong, whether you lean left or right. And like I said before, I don't care. If Bill Clinton was to get sucked into this, good. If he did something, good. Bring him down. Bring them all down. And see, they won't do that because there's a lot of money, a lot of power involved in this. It's probably one of them situations, Julia, where like well, we can't put these files out. All of Congress and half the people all the people in the government, they're all going down. It's like it would collapse the whole fucking system. That's probably true. But I'm willing to take that chance. System sucks anyway. What kind of system has a bunch of pedophiles in charge? Who would be left? Like, they release the Epstein files. Who's left? It's Marge and AOC and Amy Klobuchar, and everybody else is gone. It's like, there's only a few of them people that you talk, you see them talking, and you go, yeah, they're probably clean. AOC's got way too much attention on her to be doing fucking shady shit on the side, but they fucking be all over her. And Amy Klobuchar just seems like a nice woman from Minnesota. You know, like she wouldn't do nothing crazy wrong. Or, you know, who knows though? Sometimes people like that are the wildest. Like, and behind closed doors. I don't know. I always get this elementary school teacher, you know, vibe from Amy Klobuchar. She seems like the most she seems like a guidance counselor that you'd go to if you had problems. You're like, can I please talk to you, Miss Klobuchar? It's like, my parents are getting divorced. How do I handle this? And she would hold your hand and say real nice things and make you feel better. You know, like that. That's the kind of vibe I get from her. All those people from Minnesota. You're just good old Minnesotans. Wisconsin, that's the fucked up place. I know this from traveling the country. They like to drink in Wisconsin. Woo! I mean, they drink in Minnesota too, but like they were drinking whiskey because of that fucking wind coming off the lake. You gotta drink whiskey or you'll fucking freeze to death. But Wisconsin, every day. I did a brewery show. We drank beer all night, got drunk. I went back to the hotel, crashed. They said, hey, meet us for breakfast in the morning at this place. I said, okay. The people that own the brewery. So we get up in the morning, check out the hotel, go and get breakfast. These motherfuckers, I swear to God, they're in the breakfast place, fucking with Bloody Marys this fucking tall. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, damn, you motherfuckers like to drink. I mean, I used to like to drink a lot, but I don't drink that much anymore. But still, even when I did drink, Jesus Christ, I never got up in the morning and had another drink. People always say that, like, hair of the dog or whatever, right? It's like, you got drunk the night before, have a Bloody Mary, you know, in the morning. It's like, you're an alcoholic, bro. It's like, that's, when you're drinking at 7 in the morning, and it's not like you're going to a football game or like a special occasion. You're just getting up in the morning and having a Bloody Mary with your French toast. You're a fucking drunk. Somehow that's acceptable in America. Like, you can be an alcoholic drunk. People don't look at you the same way as if you, like, you know, ate pills or you know, did heroin or or whatever drug. Insert any drug. They go, oh, that guy's got a serious problem. It's like, the guy's drinking a Bloody Mary at 8 in the morning. Oh, Carl, he just likes to party, you know. It's like, no, I think Carl's a drunk. I mean, I'm just taking a wild stab. Julia says she puts Irish cream in her coffee every morning. See, I can't do that because I'm an alcoholic. I'll just be honest about it. And I'm not the kind of alcoholic that's like, I gotta drink. Like, I gotta wake up in the morning and I go, man, I really want to drink. You know, I'm not that kind of alcoholic at all. But I am the kind of alcoholic that if you give me a drink, if I put that Irish cream in my coffee in the morning, I'm going to want another drink. And after that, I'm going to want another drink. I'm going to keep drinking till I'm fucking drunk. Because once I start, I can't stop. Why? Because I'm an alcoholic. It's like, that's why. I also am blessed with great self-awareness. I know. That's when people say, why don't you come down here and have a beer with me? I go, because I can't just have a beer. That's the problem. Although lately, a few times I've been like, I'm just going to leave the bar. I just leave. Like, because if I keep sitting here, I'm just going to keep drinking. I've never, how's this? I can't be at the bar, right, and have like 3 or 4 beers, and then all of a sudden go, hey man, just give me a glass of water or Coke, like, no. That's not what happens. What happens is I start drinking and I just keep drinking. Now I can go a whole month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, and not drink at all. If you give me one drink, then that door goes, oh man, give me another drink. What I did was I stopped doing shots. I used to like drink beer and then do shots, and I get really fucking hammered. But as I've gotten older, I stop with the shots. But that doesn't stop me from. I just drink beer after beer after beer until I'm fucking drunk. It just takes me longer. Shots are like turbo. That's how fast you want to get drunk. And that's the other part. Like I can't just I'm just sip on it. Like I can't just sip on it. When I have a beer, I start drinking a beer. Then I want another beer. Then I want another beer. Now on Saturdays you see me drinking beer while I'm doing this show because it's my day off. I don't have to work on Sunday. It's like the only day I can drink. So sometimes I'll have a Peroni or something while I'm doing the show. I'm talking to Danielle or whatever. But I'm not like I'll drink every day. I don't hardly. I drink maybe once a week, and even then, I don't get drunk every fucking Saturday. But sometimes, like, hey man, I fucking. That's the thing. It's like, what's the alternative? You can't just be like, oh, I just give up on life. I'm not gonna. Oh, it's my day off. I'm just gonna sit here. Stare at the wall, and not do anything. It's like, fuck that, You still gotta enjoy your life. And I've always have addictive personality, and I've had lots of problems over the years, but I've always managed to stop. Like I used to do a lot of cocaine. Shocker. What, this guy here did a lot of cocaine? Oh yeah. I lived in Florida. It's like the pastime. And I was in my 20s. I was young. But again, like you don't realize when you have a problem that you have a problem until someone else tells you, one day, matter of fact, it was my mom, and she came down to visit me, and I couldn't even stop doing coke while she was there. That's how bad it was. I didn't do it right in front of her or anything, but I worked at a bar, and she came to the bar, and she knew what I was doing. And she was like, man, you're fucked up. I think you got a problem. And I was like, what, really? And after she left, I was like, examining myself and was like, you know what? She's right. I've been fucking buying half a gram or a gram of coke every single day for the last fucking, 2 years, whatever. I can't remember the last time I didn't party. Every day was a party. It's like, and you're like, yeah, man, that's the problem is the party becomes your lifestyle. So I quit. As a matter of fact, I moved away from Florida. I was like, I got to get out of here. I won't ever quit. So I left. So, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe, I went to Florida to do a show. And my friends came. I saw my friends I hadn't seen for all those years. And my friend was exactly the same. He's drinking beer, drinking whiskey, doing blow. I'm like, dude, you've been living like this for 30 fucking years? How can you? I'm surprised he was still alive. It's like, in every story that you hear, it's like that. Like, any of your friends could die. You're doing drugs every day, Especially now, you gotta know where you get your drugs from, or you get the fentanyl, It's just all become so, I don't know. I guess the more you've lived in it, the more you've seen the dark side of it, the more you're like, it's There's a dark side to it. Now, I'm not a person who sits here and advocates that everyone should be like me. Like, you can't. People can enjoy drugs recreationally. There's lots of people that can. I just have an addictive personality. So what happened to me was I hardly didn't drink that much. I smoked weed, did coke. I mean, I did drink. You know, when you're doing coke, you drink a six. You know, you get a 6-pack of beer. You're sitting there, but I wasn't drinking to get drunk. I was drinking to like take the edge off the blow. But what happened was when I came home, I stopped doing coke, and eventually, I just replaced that with alcohol. And so I was just drinking alcohol every day. I would go out at night, start drinking beer, doing Jaeger bombs and shit. And you're like, you just replace one habit for another. That's what you do when you're an addict. And some people, like Hedberg, they wind up killing themselves, you know. And once you bury enough of your friends, you realize, you know, it's not worth it. Now I can't even hardly do coke, and when I do it, I feel guilty. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. You know, now I'm all fucking like, and my brain's like, you shouldn't have done that, you piece of shit. And then all the pleasure that might have come from it is gone, you know. Yes, Ken. Like I said, but I'm blessed with self-awareness. I know myself. So if I know that something's bad for me and I'm going down the road too far, I'm usually able to separate myself and pull myself back from it. I'm not saying like it's a superpower or something. It's not. When I was young, you know, when I was younger, I was on a quest to try every drug possible. So if anybody had drugs, I was like, "What do you got?" Somebody said, "I found these pills. I don't know what they are." I said, "Give them to me. I'll tell you what happens." And I take them. And then I'd be like, "This is a speed," or "This is a downer," or whatever. Like, it's like a human guinea pig. And I'm not kidding. I would do that shit. But like I told you before, if you watch this show a lot, like I kind of had a death wish. I didn't care. So anyway, so we wanted to try all these drugs. And then me and my friend was starting a band, and you know, and this was the time of like Seattle and grunge, and we knew everybody's doing heroin, and we're like, man, we need to do some heroin and write some songs. And so we lived in Florida. This degenerate fucking junkie lived downstairs, and so my friend went down there and talked to him, and talked him into scoring us some heroin, and he did. And I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. But I hate fucking needles, you know that. And also, if you do needles, you're gonna become a junkie, right? So it's like, we're only gonna do this just to try it out. So we'll just snort it like you would coke or something. And so he puts this, and it wasn't even like coke. The bag was real small. You know, it was like, this is tiny shit. And he takes those 2 little lines of brown heroin, and he said, okay, man, we fucking did it. And I was like, you know, I don't know, it seems like maybe it's not enough. And then I started feeling weird. It was like, man, I feel tingly and shit. And then all of a sudden I was like, I ran to the bathroom and I fucking threw up. And right after that, I was like, I had taken like 50 Valiums. It was like, oh, wow. It's itching slightly. And like I said, it's like floating on a cloud. And you're like, oh, wow, I could see how people could get addicted to this. Because it's bad. Pretty strong shit. So you're laying on the couch. You feel like you're fucking like floating around, you know. And you know me, I'm super like, I want to do shit. So I'm like, hey, I thought we were going to write some songs. And my friend was like, oh, yeah. So he gets up. He goes and he gets his guitar. And so we're like, all right, then. Let's go. And he goes, he couldn't even make a fucking chord, man. I was like, well, obviously, this is something you got to get used to. And that's how they get hooked. Because first time you do it, you can't do nothing. right. It's too strong. You can't do shit. You got to develop a tolerance so you can play your guitar or whatever while you're high. But by that time, you're a fucking junkie. It was like, well, I'm not interested in becoming a junkie, so I guess that's that. And we didn't do it anymore. I tried it once. I marked it off the list. Said, hey, I tried it. Again, I don't recommend it. But it was, like I said, you did get fucking high. And like I could see why people, if you want to just escape from the world, I could see how that could be appealing to people. And it definitely felt like floating. Like, you could just lay on your couch and be, oh, wow, man. Hours and hours. That's what the junkie did downstairs. You can walk by his door and it's always open. He's just always sprawled out on his couch. It's like, that's how he lived. I don't know how he paid his rent. That's like, we never asked. It was just always hoping that we didn't walk by there, the door's open, and he wasn't like blue and dead on the couch, Because those kind of drugs, like I said, they always end. You never hear a good story where the guy's like, I did heroin and then all this good stuff happened to me. Usually it's like, the guy's on top of the world and he's like, and I did heroin and then I lost everything and then I died, like Lane Staley. Tragic stories. Guy had everything he'd want. Accomplished all his dreams. Couldn't get out wilding. Wilding the same way, Hedberg, my friend. These drugs will suck you in and you gotta be careful. And I said, I'm lucky. Not everybody is like me. I was able to stop. My friend, he still lives like that. He never was able to stop. He's still drinking, doing coke. He ain't gonna live, till me and him aren't gonna be sitting on the porch when we're fucking 80. I probably won't make it to 80, but I do believe I'll outlive him because I'm surprised his liver ain't giving out. He drank himself to the gout, my friend. One time, I'll never forget that either. One time, we partying one night, and I used to live with them. We worked in the same bar, so we work at the same bar. We close the bar down, we party, and we pass out. And in the morning, he was going to get up. He's like, "Oh, my ankle hurts." It was all swollen up. He was like, "Did I fall down last night? Did I do something?" Like I don't think so. No, I don't know. About a day or two went by, and he's like, "It ain't getting no better. It hurts." And so he went to the doctor. The doctor's like, "You got the gout." He was in like his 30s. Yeah, exactly, Julia. Some people survive it, but most people don't. Most people fall for the the thing that kills junkies and most, a lot of people don't know this, is when they get clean. Like, guy's a junkie. Guy gets clean, right? He's clean for 6 months. One day he relapses. But when he relapses, he buys the same amount of heroin that he was doing before. And he fucking takes the same shot he was doing before and it kills him because his tolerance is down. And the same amount of heroin that you used to do will now kill you. It happens to a lot of junkies. I believe that's what happened to my friend. I don't know for sure. Can't say. But I do know that he relapsed. And 2 days later he was dead. So I don't recommend it. Like I said. But that's another thing that's weird is I grew up. Yeah, my friend is on it, Julia. And That's one thing I found weird about methadone. I always thought that the methadone, right, was like they give it to you and then eventually they'd start to phase it down so that you could get clean without getting sick. But my friend's on methadone and I found out that's not the case at all. They just keep giving it to them. So now they're not on heroin, but they're on safe doses of methadone, which means they're still kind of high, you know. It's like all the time for the rest of your life. And I was like, that's fucked up, because I said I thought the methadone thing was to wean you off. I just found that out not too long ago, and I was astounded. I was like, I can't believe they just keep giving you drugs for the rest of your life. It's like, it's got to be a way to scare you down so that you don't get sick, and eventually you can stop taking it altogether. But I don't know why they don't do that. Or it's not possible, or if it's just so they can continue to make money off of you somehow, you know. I don't know. I know that I always thought that methadone clinic was where you'd go, like I said, to get clean. But no, my friend just decides she got a prescription. She just goes there. They give her the methadone. She takes it every day so she don't get sick. And like I said, and then they're kind of high all the time, you know. It's like, so now you're going through your life all foggy. It's like she's always forgetting shit. It's like losing her keys, locking herself out of her apartment. I don't know. We got serious here for a second. You know, that's a Neil song. Neil Young song, The Needle and the Damage Done. It's one of my favorite songs, but it's very sad. Julia Creator, we were trying to wean him off so you can get the lung transplant, but it's harder to get off the methadone than it is to stop heroin. Yeah, like I didn't know that. I thought the methadone was like a substitute to keep you from getting sick, and they give you like a certain amount, and then gradually they would just lower that amount until you were weaned off of it. But no. Apparently once you're an opium junkie, you just take methadone for the rest of your life. Which, you know, that can't be good for your liver and shit. I mean, it's fucked up. That's what I mean. It's like everything starts as a party. It's a party! We're having a good time! And like it usually doesn't end that way, you know. Same as drinking. I was able to stop. I used to drink every single day. I was able to break myself of it. And now, like I said, I'm still an alcoholic. I can't casually have a drink. Because, like I said, if I have one drink, drunk Bruce wakes up and goes, "Hey, Bruce!" It's like, he was asleep. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's like, you ever seen that? You know, you drink the potion, you become another guy. It's kind of like that, you know. You ever know a real alcoholic that does that? Who has a drink or two, and then all of a sudden you see their eyes change and everything. They become a different person. I know this guy. He was the nicest guy. Really cool guy. Really talented guitar player. But he's an alcoholic. And he's the nicest guy. You could hang out with him and be like, oh, this is the coolest dude. You know, he'd have a couple drinks. He's going to get in a fight. He's going to start a fight. You know, it's like, but he would never start a fight when he was sober. And like I said, also you could see his eyes like cock. Like and you go, oh no, and they like glaze over. And you'd be like, oh no, he's Mr. Hyde. You have to like apologize for him to other people. I'm sorry, I swear he's usually not like this. And he's like, fuck that guy, wants to fight. Julia says, in the show on a high note, how about in Marjorie Taylor Greene wanting a national divorce? Yeah, she's on my wagon. Maybe she checked out the show. It's like I don't agree with the same thing. I don't agree with Marjorie Taylor on too much. I agree with her on this. We should just split this country in two before we start killing each other. Because that's where it's headed, folks. And I'm not advocating that. I'm not endorsing it. I'm just telling you, if we keep going down this road, we're going down now, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. It's irreparably broken, the system. And besides, I'd like to see it. The experiment, side by side. Let's try, you know, socialized medicine and shit for us, and let them fucking continue to live in whatever this is. Because this doesn't work. You can clearly look around you and see it doesn't work. In blue states, you probably have some gun control. You probably have, like I said, socialized medicine. You probably have other things socialized, more than you do now. There would be a robust food stamp program. I'm sure there'd be robust Head Starts and paid family leave. All the things they won't give you now. We could do all that while they continue to do this. Right next to each other. And we can see, like a scientific experiment, how it works out. What's better. I'd like to see that. We've never even tried it. They tried to do Obamacare, you know, and they did it, but it didn't. It wasn't nearly as robust as it should have been. We should have got single payer like Bernie wanted. We could have a President Bernie. Now it won't be Bernie, but like, you know, have you seen this too? Democrats finally endorsed Mamdani. Finally. And Mamdani has a huge lead in the polls right now. Cuomo and Adams and all the other shit candidates they got. Hey, Mamdani's new, he's young, he's fresh. Do you agree with everything, all of his ideas? No. But what we've been doing don't work. Maybe we should try something else. I thought America was called the grand experiment, you know, so let's experiment. He's got little socialist ideas. That's okay with me. I don't mind if he makes a grocery store. That's what I mean. People are like, oh my God, he's going to make a socialized grocery store. Yeah, how about you put some food in places where the people have a hard time getting some? You know what? That might stop crime a little bit. We don't know. You know, when someone has a full belly, maybe they don't feel like doing crime so much. You know, he's doing the crime so he can get something to eat. Give somebody something to eat. Hey, might not commit a crime. Hey, crime rate falls down. Really? You mean you don't have to beat them up and point guns at them and, you know, bring the National Guard in? There are other ways to solve problems? Really? Yes. We just don't try them here. Because it's communism. It's unbelievable. Anyway. Let me get out of here. What Ellen DeGeneres do now? Oh, she's hit with a lawsuit after a shocking crash. I don't know what she did. Anyway. Yeah, I said I would like to see that. Right side by side. Let's see what happens. You know, I said they can continue to do whatever the fuck this is and shoot each other, you know, in the middle of the fucking streets and deny people health care and take away their food stamps and don't feed hungry children. And, you know, we could become more like Canada. I don't see the problem. I think that, and plus, we could take all the brown people that they don't want, and then, you know, we actually have farms that work and shit. It's I don't understand. It seems like a win-win-win-win-win situation. It's like, and watch them slowly fall into third world status, and they realize that their fucking stupid ideas don't work. And even then, they'd be like, fuck them! They're just assholes, man. That's the other thing. There'll be significantly less assholes in Blue Land, or whatever you want to call it. in the blue part of the country. Significantly less assholes. Why is that? Because they all live in the red part. I wouldn't mind moving wherever I had to go. It beats the alternative of actually having to leave the country, and go somewhere else because this country's fucking fell apart. I'd rather split it in two and try to save it. If that's the way to save it, then we just make two different countries. Right, North America, South America. Oh wait, that's taken. What would you call it? I don't know. Americana used to be there used to be a amusement park here called Americana. That's what we'll call it. It's Americana. It's like, come to Americana. We have socialized medicine, paid family leave, and gun control. And we don't have the Bible in the school. It's like, come on down. Trans people, we got them. It's like, and up here they can play sports. It's like, all right, I gotta get out of here. As usual, I love each and every one of you. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll be back on Thursday, 6 o'clock. I am Bruce Leonard. This is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. And as always, try to enjoy your life. Don't fucking bathe in this internet shit, even though you're watching me on the internet. It's always an irony when you're on the internet telling people, maybe you should turn it off for a minute. But wait, not this. Anyway, I'll be back on Thursday. I love all of you. Good night.